Hi, welcome to today's video. Today we're talking about celebrities and celebrity gossip. Let's begin. Do you think celebrities can affect people in a negative way? Why? Please pause the video and write down 3 ideas so we can all share in class. Okay, great. Now, let's think about this too. What is your opinion about celebrity gossip? Now we're all going to share our opinions during our class. Let's continue. I'm going to show you 2 sentences, and we need to decide if we can omit the bold-faced words in each sentence. Later, we're going to find out what words are connecting the sentences. So, let's see. We love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. Take a look at the option. Read about celebrities' problems. In this case, can you still understand the sentence even if you omit the bold-faced words? Yes, right? Let's take a look at the second one. There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. There are even shows. In this case, can you still understand the sentence? No, right? Now, let's see what words are connecting the clauses into each sentence. Pause the video while you think about this. If you notice, the words that are connecting both clauses are which and that. Now, let's take a look at this. These are called relative clauses. Now, relative clauses are divided into 2 main clauses, defining and non-defining relative clauses, and they are usually connected with defining relative pronouns. Some of them are who, which, where, when, and that. Look at the examples again. We love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. So, let's continue. Now, I want you to please read the sentences again and find which relative clause is giving essential information and which one is giving extra. Pause the video while you think about this. Okay, so let's see. The one that is giving you essential information is in the second sentence, right? There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. This is called a defining relative clause. And a characteristic is that we cannot omit this clause, because if not, the sentence doesn't make sense. Now, the one that has extra information would be the other one. We love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. Remember that even if I remove that part, I can still understand the sentence. So let's take a look at defining relative clauses. So, first of all, remember that they give us information we need to understand the sentence. The information is essential. We can use that or another relative pronoun, such as who, which, where, when, etc. Take a look at the example. There are even shows that pay for plastic surgery, or there are even shows which pay for plastic surgery. If you notice here, I am exchanging that for which because I'm talking about shows. If I were talking about people, I would probably use who, place, where, or even time, when. Let's continue. Now, something that we need to know is that the relative pronoun cannot be omitted when they are followed by a verb. For example, there are even shows pay for plastic surgery is not correct. Why? Because if you see, we have a verb, pay. In this case, we should have there are even shows that pay for plastic surgery. It doesn't matter if it is the main verb, such as pay, or even a modal, like could, can, or should. You still need to use the relative pronoun. Now, what happens if you don't have a verb after the relative pronoun, but you have a subject? In that case, yes, you can omit the relative pronoun. But this is because it is followed by a subject. Look at the example. the assistant we met was very kind. Or, the assistant that we met was very kind. In this case, both options are correct because, as you see, we have a subject, we. Let's continue. Now, non-defining relative clauses. If you remember, they give us extra information or information that is not really needed to understand the sentence. We do not use the relative pronoun that. And we have to use a comma to introduce the relative clause. Look at the example. We love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. If you notice, I am not using the relative pronoun that, and I have a comma before I begin my relative clause. Let's continue. Now, non-defining relative clauses cannot be reduced. So this is very important. You cannot omit the relative pronoun. We love to read about celebrities' problems. The media will often invent is not correct. We should have we love to read about celebrities' problems, which the media will often invent. So let's go ahead and practice. Let's go to workbook page 10, exercise A. Here, you need to decide if the information that is in bold is essential or if it is extra. We're going to write D if the information is essential for defining, and if the information is extra, then we know that it is a non-defining clause, so we're going to write N. And we need to add commas when it is necessary. So let's take a look at number 1. I can't stand magazines that are full of ads. Now, let's try to think about this sentence without the boldface. I can't stand magazines. What magazines are you talking about? Are you talking about sports magazines, history magazines, celebrity magazines? We don't know, right? So in this case, we could say that this information is essential. So we're going to write D for defining. Now, number 2. Fashion magazines, which are really mostly about shopping, usually have the most ads. Now, in this case, let's see the sentence without the boldface part. Fashion magazines usually have the most ads. In this case, we can understand it, so we can say that the information is extra. Then, what should we write, D or N? That's right, we should write N for non-defining. Now, if you remember, here we need to add commas. Where should they go? That's right, they should be before and after the relative clause. Right here. Now pause the video and work on the rest. Then we're going to check. Okay, great. So, number 3. The celebrities who are always in the gossip magazines don't really interest me. In this case, the information is essential, so we're going to write D. Next. Good theater actors who never get as famous as movie actors deserve more attention. In this case, the information is extra, non-defining. Where should you have the commas? That's right, before and after the clause. Let's take a look at number 5. I really enjoy reading about celebrities and the charity work they do. Defining, very good. 6. When I buy music magazines, I will usually buy the ones which have a free CD. Also, defining. The magazine I like the most is about art and culture. This is also defining. Remember, if you're not sure, try omitting the part that is in bold. If you can still understand the sentence, then it is non-defining. But if the sentence doesn't make sense, that means that this sentence is defining, and it is essential. So, let's continue. We're going to be working on exercise B. This is going to be our homework, but we're going to do conversation 1 together. Here, what we need to do is to complete each conversation using who, that, or which. And if the pronoun is optional, then we use parentheses. Remember that sometimes there is more than one correct answer. So let's take a look at number 1. I am looking for a good TV show. could help me improve my listening skills in English. In this case, do you think this is a defining or a non-defining clause? Yeah, in this case it is essential, so we're going to say that it is defining. Now, what should I use? Who, that, or which? Well, we're talking about TV shows, so we know that we cannot use who, right? Because it is a defining clause. Is it okay if I use that and which? Yes, right? Now, is the pronoun essential or is it optional? Well, if you notice, we have the modal verb could. So this pronoun is necessary. That's why I'm not using parentheses. That or which. B. I think maybe sitcoms are often about everyday life are best for that. In this case, is the information essential or is it extra? That's right, the information in between the commas is extra. So this is a non-defining clause. Now, what pronoun should I use? Can I use that? No, right? Because this is a non-defining clause. So who or which? Well, we're talking about sitcoms, so we're going to use which. And if you remember, in this case, I cannot omit the pronoun because, once again, is a non-defining clause. Check out the two. I watch Wednesday nights at 8 and 8:30 on Channel 2. In this case, is this a defining or a non-defining clause? It is defining, right? Check out the two. But what two sitcoms, right? The ones that I watch. So yes, it is essential. It is defining. Now, because it is defining, what can I use? Who, that, or which? Well, once again, we're talking about sitcoms, so we cannot use who. But we can use that or which. Now, is the pronoun necessary or is it optional? That's right. In this case, it is optional because we have the subject I. Now pause the video and work on conversations 2, 3, and 4. We're going to check them during our class. Okay? I will see you then. Bye-bye!